Hey guys, I am so stoked to be covering Needful Things today because this was a fun read. The movie, on the other hand, kind of forgettable to be honest. As always, if you haven't already, smash that subscribe button and that notification bell to keep my channel growing. We're at 60 subscribers to date, and that's a beautiful thing. But do you know what's not a beautiful thing? Materialism and thinking only about yourself, which appears to be the hard lesson in Needful Things, because in the book there are easily 3 times as many people in the movie buying these rare gems at a steal of a price. The only fine print thing that you have to screw someone else over in a way that gets someone else that they already have issues with blamed for it. So it kind of makes you wonder. So many people buying and pranking, does no one put 2 and 2 together? Not when you're only thinking about yourself. Anyway, the main idea of the story and most of the characters are the only things the book and the movie have in common. There are so many more characters, details about them, and nasty pranks that this would do very well as a mini-series. Just my own personal humble opinion, it's not served very well as a 2-hour movie. Starting with, our esteemed Sheriff Alan is still the hero in this piece, but there is just so much more to him. We get his backstory, having lost his wife and son in a car wreck, and he has something of an officer-friendly affect, and he keeps most everyone in Castle Rock at ease around him, with his knack for sleight-of-hand magic tricks and shadow puppets. Like in the movie, in the book he's the only one who smells a rat when he's around Leland Gaunt and his business Needful Things. And on to his lady friend, Paulie. In the movie, she runs a cafe, which is how everyone in the story knows each other. In the book, she runs a tailoring and alteration business, and she has some tragic backstory of her own. Having moved across country to San Francisco as a pregnant teenager, living hand to mouth until the baby died tragically with the babysitter, prompting her return to Castle Rock. She receives the magic pendant that relieves her arthritis pain as a gift from Gaunt to win her favor as Alan grows more suspicious of him. Next is her housekeeper, Nightie, who is known as the town nutcase because she served some time in the psychiatric treatment after being found innocent of murder by reason of temp insanity of her husband. Paulie sponsors Nightie upon her release, hires her to take care of her home, co-signs for her house, and buys her a dog. Nightie's Needful Thing is not a humble figurine, but a carnival glass lampshade that she agrees to vandalize the town selectman's house for and frame the deputy. While little Brian's story is almost exactly the same, for an autographed Sandy Koufax baseball card he vandalizes Wilma's laundry, then her house, and frames Nightie for it. He doesn't take a gun to his own head out of guilt in front of the sheriff. He does so in front of his younger brother, and is tragically successful. Now, speaking of Nightie and Wilma, their knife fight is severely watered down in the movie. It's very gruesome in the book. Nightie takes a butcher's knife to the pit of her stomach and her intestines spill out. But while she's still standing and all that is swinging in front of her, she still wields that meat cleaver, and she splits Wilma's hip and her collarbone, and then sinks it right down the middle of her skull. Brian's mother, Cora, and her best frenemy, Myra, are both extreme Elvis Presley fangirls in the book. In the book and in the movie, Cora buys what she is told are Elvis's sunglasses, for the price of sending the deputy a gift-wrapped rat trap, say that 3 times fast, and framing the crooked town politician Dan Keaton, who are always at each other's throats. Cora is also eyeing a framed picture of Elvis that Myra ends up getting in exchange for sexual favors done in the back room of Needful Things. And here is where the fangirl acts get really nutty house. When Cora goes to confront her for going behind her back like that, she walks in on Myra in the bed with the framed picture, and she's straddling this thing and humping it. The frenemies have a shooting match and kill each other. The deputy, Norris, buys a fishing rod he's always wanted, in exchange for messing with the town drunk and getting the town barkeep blamed for it. Both end up shooting each other dead. The said town drunk is Hugh Priest. He buys a foxtail from Needful Things in the book. In the movie, it's a collectible Letterman's jacket. All he has to do is kill Nettie's dog and frame Wilma for it. This is the only thing not watered down from book to movie. Quite the opposite, in fact. While what he does in the book could be considered quick with minimal suffering, what he does in the movie, if you love dogs, just don't look. The dirty politician Dan Keaton buys a novelty horse racetrack in exchange for planting bombs all over the city with the help of the town jailbird, who bought an early edition copy of Treasure Island. They plant bombs and all other kinds of things that take the ongoing feud between the two churches over a charity gambling event up to an all-out war complete with fires, explosions, fighting in the streets, etc. Other characters and shenanigans in the book, but not in the movie, include the special ed teacher who buys a piece of petrified wood that Gaunt told her came off of Noah's Ark. All she has to do is plant some child porn in the principal's office. This gets blamed on the gym teacher who she's engaged to. They shoot it out, and she ends up hanging herself. That final wedge, driven between Paulie and Alan, is not some planted dirty money. It's a planted forged letter making it look like Alan was digging into her background, specifically about the death of her little boy. She does think things through and weigh all the facts and realize that she was manipulated. When she takes off that pain-relieving pendant, she smashes it on the floor and a huge spider comes out. And she fights with it, and it bites her and injects like this acidic poison into one of her arms, and she bites one of its feet off and she kills it. At the very end, just after Sheriff Allen takes a look at the baseball card that Brian bought and started all this whole mess, he sees it wasn't a Sandy Koufax. It was just some little-known minor league player, and Brian was made to see what he wanted to see. And this is how Sheriff outsmarts Leland Gaunt at his own game. While explosions rock the town and people fight, Alan catches up with him, closing up Needful Things and carrying a briefcase full of things moving around and bulging and causing the sides of it to bulge. The souls of everyone who bought and pranked. And the sheriff uses his own sleight-of-hand talents to outsmart him. He takes one of those age-old pranks, the peanut brittle can with the spring-loaded snake. Tells him there's a real snake inside, and he removes the lid, and a big king cobra springs forth and bites him. Then the sheriff makes a shadow puppet dog with his hands, and it bites him. Then he makes a shadow puppet hawk, claws at him right before his eyes. And right before his eyes, Leland Gaunt transforms into what he really is. This crawling, squealing, demonic creature. Like the spider in Paulie's necklace. And just then everyone snaps out of it and all the fighting stops. In the movie, the sheriff just yells at everyone to wake up and get their act together and admit what they did. Just as Dan Keaton bull charges Leland Gaunt right through the window of Needful Things with a bomb strapped to his chest, and blows up the whole place and himself with it, and Gaunt just walks away unscathed, gets in his car and leaves, which leaves room for the epilogue where a mysterious stranger arrives in Junction City and opens up a place called Answered Prayers. And that covers Needful Things. Thank you so much for watching. Next week, I'm planning on another What Were They Thinking episode featuring the Sleepwalkers, the Langoliers, and the Raft. I will see you then.